Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to a Week 2 battle between Cthulhu and Clockwork here. I'm sorry, I just finished my own battle and I am rushing over to this one. So give me one quick second here as I get everything finalized, and then we'll start taking a look at the match. Alright, so we have Cthulhu, coach of the Frosted Flakes, going up against Clockwork of the Hammerlock Hydro Cannons. The Hammerlock Hydro Cannons on the right side are 1-0 in the season, and Cthulhu on the left is 0-1 going into this game. So, I didn't get much chance to look at the team's pregame, but we see Tinkaton Espathra versus the Mega Froslass Incineroar. So we see Intimidate coming out, but not working on the Tinkaton, and the Espathra doesn't care about it. So we'll see speed interactions here between Tinkaton and Incineroar as far as fake-outs go. We see, so for Clockwork, we see the Blastoise, Tsareena, Garganacl, and Pikachu. And I want to make sure, I believe Hammerlock is the one with the Mega Blastoise. Yes, that is Mega Blastoise that did fantastic for them in Week 1. On the left side, we see Snorlax, Ditto, Gallade, and Machamp. Snorlax was one of the better Pokemon for Cthulhu in Week 1. We do see the Froslass Mega here right away. Setting up that snow. Tinkaton does go for the fake out into Incineroar. Let's see what... Froslass goes for the defensive play in Aurora Veil here, so that he's going to give Espathra at least a speed boost, if not also a Calm Mind boost. It is the Calm Mind set. So the Espathra is going to be +1, +1, +1 here. But Aurora Veil up on the side of Cthulhu. So both players kind of just setting up for the turns to come. So we've got to be thinking Baton Passes usually with this set. Baton Passing this into the Mega Gyarados could be the Mega Blastoise could be extremely scary. I just played Gyarados in my match, so I had Gyarados on the mind. But yeah, passing this to Mega Blastoise could be terrifying for Cthulhu, and he doesn't really have Pokemon on the field to punish it all that much right now. I'm curious how much a Shadow Ball would do into a +1 special defense Mega Blastoise. Give me one quick second here. So we do see the Blizzard, and it gets the freeze on the Tinkaton. And then Flare Blitz into that Tinkaton just picks up Knockout. So the freeze doesn't end up mattering because it was doubled up into that Tinkaton spot. So leaving this Espathra on its own, it could go for another Calm Mind here. Or it probably already did, and I missed it. Because again, sorry, I was doing a lot of things all simultaneously. But I will focus for the rest of this. Alright, so we do see Garganacl come in. So I just want to make sure it was not another Calm Mind boost. So I missed what Espathra went for. Incineroar took the Flare. Yeah, I don't know what Espathra went for. Maybe it was just Protect. But Garganacl comes in. Garganacl's signature move of Salt Cure was nerfed in Champions, if you're unaware of that change. The first team I ran in Champions had Garganacl, and I was wondering why Salt Cure was doing no damage. It's because they nerfed it. So I'm interested to see what the Garganacl wants to do here. It's just going for a Wide Guard, so to protect from Blizzards. And there is the Baton Pass, and you gotta assume this is the Mega Blastoise coming in. So it is going to come in pretty scot-free here. We'll see what this Incineroar does. It is a Darkest Lariat, so the best option it had into this Blastoise. And it does good damage, just 38% into the Blastoise. But it now has 2 Speed Boosts and a Calm Mind, I believe. Yes, 2 Speed Boosts and a Calm Mind. Now the Water Spouts are weakened, though, quite a bit. So actually has dealt with this Blastoise in a way that doesn't make it as threatening to completely run away with the game. Still need to deal with it sooner rather than later, though, as it is the major offensive piece here on the side of Clockwork. I think I'm going to turn the game down just ever so slightly. As we do see the Blastoise going for the Mega here. And it does have the Dark Pulse. That will pick up the Oko through the Aurora Veil, which I believe was still up. We do see another Darkest Lariat into that Blastoise, so one more will pick it up. And we see the Body Press coming out from the Garganacl. Is this Citrus Berry? It is not. So what is in the back here for the side of Cthulhu? It is Gallade, okay. So you gotta imagine this Blastoise. It has Dark Pulse. It probably has Water Spout, you would think. Yeah, and that did pick up through Aurora. Aurora does have one turn left. So what else does this Blastoise have? I doubt it has a way to one-shot the Gallade at this amount of health. Does it have a water move other than Water Spout? And maybe it doesn't even have Water Spout. I'm kind of making an assumption there with the setup of this team. It does have Protect, so it will protect itself this turn. As it was a Darkest Lariat fired off into that spot. Garganacl does go for that Salt Cure, that move that was nerfed this generation. So we will see it doing damage residually over time, but not the same amount that it used to. As Gallade goes for the Trick Room. That really neuters both the Blastoise and the Espathra that's still in the back. Both of those Pokemon wanting to go very quickly. So now Garganacl becomes the main threat here. But you got to think, what can it really do here? It'll probably be a roll if a Body Press picks up this Incineroar or not. And then what does it have for Gallade other than just stalling out Salt Cure? Is there a way you can stall out this Trick Room long enough for Blastoise to still do more in the endgame, or is Blastoise kind of just going to be sacrificed here? Does switch out the Blastoise, so is going to try to preserve it, so that as Sparta comes in, it might be catching a Darkest Lariat, though, if this Body Press doesn't pick up, but it does. Okay, so I do believe that was a roll based on the damage we saw previously from it. So that is big. Oh, and it was a Sacred Sword into the Espathra. So that was a great turn there for Clockwork. Look at how little that Salt Cure damage does now. In comes the Machamp as the final Pokemon for Cthulhu. Not exactly where... Well, Trick Room is up, so they can probably deal with the Espathra before it gets to take out this Machamp. And you do have two fighting types to deal with the Rock. But do you end up just protecting both this turn and start on another turn of Trick Room? It does have 3 turns left. So you could stall out this turn, have Espathra go down the following turn, and then protect Blastoise, and you will get 1 turn with Blastoise outside of Trick Room, but it is not protecting both here. It is a Dynamic Punch into the Garganacl, that no guard, giving it access to Dynamic Punch, which will confuse guaranteed. It is Life Orb Machamp. The Garganacl does survive that. We do see Stone Edge coming into the Espathra. It will survive that as well, even with the critical hit. Espathra goes for the Lumina Crash into the Gallade, not the Machamp. So special defense does fall. There's the speed boost, but you don't really want that at this point. This is very tricky here for Clockwork to get out of this. If Blastoise had more health in the back, you'd be feeling pretty good about your spot, but it doesn't. Garganacl can get one more attack off before it's probably taken down if it doesn't hit itself in confusion. So Espathra does protect. It is a bullet punch coming out from the Machamp into the Espathra spot. Garganacl is confused, and it does hit itself in confusion, and then will go down to the Sacred Sword. So it is unfortunate not to get that damage off with Garganacl. It was probably going to be important in this match. Now it might... Oh, we do see the Citrus Berry pop for Gallade. This game might now come down to if this Espathra can hit a double protect. It needs to protect again to get outside of Trick Room. And then you got to think, with that Lumina Crash special defense drop, you would think Espathra can take out Machamp with a Lumina Crash, but it does have Bullet Punch. So I'm not seeing a good way out of this for Clockwork. Step one is to get a double protect from Espathra. But they don't go for it. Oh no, it's Trick Room still. They do go for it, and they do get it. So they get the double protect. So they will now have the fastest two Pokemon outside of the Trick Room. You would assume the Mega Blastoise could be slow, but you would expect Espathra, then Blastoise, and then both of Cthulhu's Pokemon. So Obvious plays Bullet Punch into the Espathra. And then Blastoise has to be able to knock out this Gallade. And then can Blastoise one-shot where the Machamp is at? I don't know the rest of this Blastoise moveset. We've only seen Dark Pulse and Protect, I believe. Again, you gotta figure it has Water Spout. So what is that fourth move? Is it something that can pick up Machamp from this range? Bullet Punch does come out into the Espathra. Does pick up the knockout. So that's step one of this final turn. Or maybe not final turn, sorry. There is the Dark Pulse into the Gallade with the -2 special defense. That is enough to pick up the knockout. So now we do see the one-on-one. Can Blastoise knock out this Machamp? I don't think Machamp can go for a Bullet Punch. It will not pick up the knockout. It has to go for a Dynamic Punch and hope it can tank whatever hit is coming from this Blastoise. This, more than likely, will be the final turn of Game 1. And it comes right down to the wire. Can Mega Blastoise get this knockout? What a Game 1 we've had. Both players thinking it through. There is the Aura Sphere, the fourth move. Presumably the fourth move is revealed, and Machamp lives it on 3 HP and picks up the knockout with the Dynamic Punch, taking out the Blastoise, also taking itself out with the Life Orb, but that win will go over to Cthulhu, Machamp getting the knockout before it goes down to Life Orb. So Cthulhu picks up Game 1 in a very close nail-biting finish, as we will go into Game 2. Oh, that was a fun one. Oh, and they might already be in Game 2. I might have joined that one slightly late. Oh, no, okay. Okay. We're good. I've been behind on things. I was just making sure. Let's hope we get another game like what we just saw. That was a very fun Game 1. So we saw all the resources that went into that Mega Blastoise. You had the Espathra trying to baton pass to it. You had Pokemon alongside it that weren't as offensive. Really, the main firepower was going to be coming from that Blastoise. Will they double down? Oh, we're having a slight connection issue between the Babblers. So that is what is going on. But it looks like we are getting connected here. So are they going to put all the eggs in the Blastoise basket again? Are they going to try to pivot it? Because we saw the Tinkaton, Espathra, Garganacl, and Blastoise. Not a ton of offensive pressure there outside of the Mega Blastoise. But to be honest, the other two Pokemon are Pikachu and Tsareena. This team is relying on a lot of offense from the Blastoise. On the other side, you have the multiple fighting types. You have the Mega Froslass. Ditto could be very interesting if you expect the baton pass strategy again. Can you Ditto into your own Blastoise with the boost? We don't know what item is on the Ditto. A lot of times it is either Focus Sash or Choice Scarf. So that would be a very interesting play. If we expect the same game plan from Clockwork, Ditto could be very fun. Snorlax, the other option for Cthulhu that we didn't see. It's fine, I think. If you wanted to pivot into it, you could. It's hard to say if you really need to. But yeah, on the side of Clockwork, they're the one that needs to make the adjustment here. Or you can just say run it back. That game came down to 3% health on Machamp. Maybe you just run it back and you think you're confident enough in that strategy to work. It did look very scary there. I would say that turn 3, maybe turn 4, when they Darkest Lariated into that spot and got the damage on Blastoise, that was massive. Because if Blastoise would have been at full health and could fire off Water Spouts, it would have been huge. But we are going to see the Garganacl and Espathra against the same lead from Cthulhu in the Incineroar and Mega Froslass. So, 4 Pokemon we saw last game, different lead for Clockwork. I gotta think the same strat is coming. You gotta think you set up for the Mega Blastoise. But what is this What is this Garganacl doing here on the field? We saw body pressing was going to be about a 3-shot on the Incineroar. Salt Cure wasn't picking up damage quickly enough. It does have access to Wide Guard to protect from the Blizzard, but knowing that the Mega Froslass could just target Shadow Balls down. So I think Cthulhu has the advantage here in the lead. We are going to see the Froslass go Mega again right away. Will it set up another Aurora Veil, or will it just go for damage this time around? We're going to see a Fake Out from Incineroar onto the Garganacl. So we won't see it do anything this turn. It is going to be the Aurora Veil again, so favoring the defensive boost that Froslass can provide over the offensive pressure. And it is going to be the Calm Mind from Espathra. So very similar first turn here. It was Tinkaton faking out the Incineroar this time. Now it is Incineroar getting a fake out off. But we see a +1/+1/+1 Espathra versus an Aurora Veil Mega Froslass. But now here's the thing. What's stopping a Shadow Ball right into that Espathra slot? You can't really freely click Blizzard here, but Shadow Ball looks very safe. Or if you have set up of your own, you could even set up... I think that'd be a little risky to set up your own Nasty Plots here with the speed boost going off, but you could. It is Blizzard, so not fearing the Wide Guard here. Does go for the Blizzard. No freezes. We do see Darkest Lariat into the Espathra. Oh, and it lives on 3. If that would have knocked out, that might have just been GG's right then and there. So those paths would never get to the Blastoise. But now what? You have no way of getting Blastoise in without taking damage here. That double up into that spot is pretty safe. You're not fearing the Garganacl too much. Espathra will protect this turn, so it could buy a free turn for Garganacl. But again, you're not fearing what it can do all that much, and it's just another Blizzard. Saying you are not going to click the Wide Guard. I am safe to just Blizzard over and over. And it is Parting Shot this time around into the Espathra. So it is another Body Press into the Incineroar, and it does pick up a critical hit to knock out the Incineroar. So I said you weren't fearing the Garganacl. The one way you do fear it is if it gets crits. Now what do you bring in here? It is the Gallade again. So again, we're seeing a very similar game here in Game 2 as we did in Game 1. Lots of low health bars on the side of Clockwork. But it's just... Blastoise can be very scary with all those boosts, but just how do you get it in? There's the Wide Guard. We'll see if it is another Blizzard this time around. As there is the Baton Pass, so you gotta assume here comes the Blastoise. Be very funny if it was Pikachu, but I believe it's probably gonna be the Blastoise. There is the Blastoise. It is Blizzard yet again, so Wide Guard does stop that damage this time around. You gotta assume the Gallade was either Trick Rooming or going for damage, and it was the Trick Room. So again, turning those speed boosts against the Blastoise. So speed order here should be Garganacl, then Gallade, then Mega Froslass, then Blastoise. I want to make sure I don't have this. Oop. Keep yawning because I don't have sound on, so I need to turn the sound on. Hopefully you don't hear it echoing. But we are going to see the Mega Blastoise as Snorlax switched into the Froslass position. Blastoise will just protect. So what's this Garganacl going for here? It is the Salt Cure once again into the Gallade. It will slowly chip it over time, but I cannot stress how slowly it does. It is Sacred Sword into the Garganacl, picking up the knockout. And the Snow has stopped, but Froslass still is in the back, so when it comes back in, Snow will be back up for it. The Aurora Veil has worn off as well. So we do know this Blastoise has Aura Sphere for the Snorlax. It can Dark Pulse the Gallade if it wanted to. Now Tinkaton comes in with a Fake Out. Now all of a sudden this Blastoise is looking much better than it was a second ago. Now Gallade also can learn Wide Guard. So we've seen Sacred Sword, we've seen Trick Room. I don't know if we've seen anything else from it. Have we seen a Protect from it? Don't know if we have. I don't know if we've seen Psycho Cut either. So Trick Room and Wide Guard would be half your move slots put into support, but it could, in theory, save them from Water Spouts after the Fake Out turn. So there's the Protect. There's the Fake Out. So Blastoise is not protecting here. It is Encoring. Nice play. The Tinkaton now is Encored into Fake Out, so it will struggle now. There's the Aura Sphere, so good plays on both sides here. Snorlax does survive, recovers a little bit of leftovers. So, if I'm on the side of Clockwork, I do not think this Gallade has Wide Guard. We have seen Protect, we have seen Trick Room, so is it really only one attack? Is it only Sacred Sword? That's what it would have to be in order to hold Wide Guard. So, Water Spouts are probably free here. There is a Body Slam into the Blastoise. There's the Sacred Sword. It does survive. Tinkaton is going to struggle. Oh, will it pick up? It does not pick up the Struggle Knockout. We do see the Water Spout. So it is going to pick up the Snorlax since it's at literal 1. But unfortunately it took all that damage. So the Water Spout into the Gallade is doing next to nothing. Now, how do you get out of this position if you're Clockwork? You have a low health Blastoise, you have a struggling Tinkaton. You're still inside Trick Room. Ideally, both Pokemon will run off the field, but you only have one Pokemon in the back. You can't do that. Blastoise, you gotta think, has to protect here. Oh no. What happened? Sorry. Tinkaton will switch. My switch freaked out there. Espathra comes in. Froslass does protect. Blastoise also protects. I was trying to check how many turns of Trick Room we had left, and I hit the wrong button, so I apologize about that. So we are going to see a turn of just Espathra switching in, Gallade taking the damage. So there is the Twisted Dimensions returning to normal. So Blastoise is once again now the fastest thing on the field. And we've seen this Dark Pulse pick up the Froslass from here before. And it did just protect. So Froslass probably has to go for the double. And also in Clockwork, with 12% HP on his entire side of the field right now, has put himself in a great spot. We see this Dark Pulse going to Froslass. It does pick up the knockout. And it's Gallade verse 3. There's the Lumina Crash. The problem is Gallade can't pick up both. There's the Citrus Berry, but with that Lumina Crash, either one of these can pick up the Gallade next turn. They are going to take out the Blastoise. But with this Salt Cure, it secures that the next Lumina Crash will be enough. Tinkaton can come in and offer a Fake Out as well. And this looks like we're going to be going to Game 3. I do not see a way out of this for Gallade. So both players taking time. Think about Game 3. You've had two incredibly well-played close games so far. So there's Fake Out into the Protect. But it is just a matter of time now before this Gallade ends up going down. So we saw Snorlax instead of Machamp here in Game 2. It did not provide as much as the Machamp did. So will Cthulhu pivot back to the Machamp? Or will we see the Ditto? We still haven't seen the Ditto. I don't think you do Ditto and the Trick Room. I do think the Trick Room has worked well. But you could pivot to the Ditto mode instead here. Gallade does actually survive the Lumina Crash. I thought that was going to be enough for the knockout. But with the double up of the Play Rough, Gallade will go down, and we will have a Game 3. I think on the side of Clockwork, you're happy with your 4. I don't think Tsareena does a ton for you here. And I think Pikachu is going to be doing the same amount of stuff Tinkaton is. Have some Fake Out, and I think... Yeah, I think you stick with the same 4 of your Clockwork. And I would really love to see Cthulhu try that Ditto mode. Again, I don't know the item, so I don't know if it's feasible. But you think if it's Focus Sash or Choice Scarf, that Ditto could look good here. I think Clockwork is stuck into only going for that Baton Pass mode. So Ditto could be free to copy those boosts. It's a very interesting matchup. So we've seen Cthulhu both games bring Froslass and Incineroar up front versus the Espathra and a support piece on the side of Clockwork. It was Tinkaton Game 1, it was Garganacl Game 2. And you gotta think it's gonna be the same again. If you're on the side of Cthulhu and you think that lead of Espathra plus support is coming, is there a better way to punish that right away? Looking at the team, I don't really think so. I think you kind of stick with what you've been doing here. I think the Incineroar Froslass is still the lead. I think it's your best lead into that Espathra plus support. So I think we're going to see two coaches really run it back here. I think Clockwork's team will probably be all the same 4. Cthulhu has some options of what to bring in the back. I think we'll see the same lead. Those back 2 could be different. I think the Gallade's been really good. I think Gallade will be one of the back 2. The other one could be any of the 3. And I say that, if you are bringing the Ditto, you could drop Gallade for Machamp. I think you want one of your fighting types here for sure, though. So here we go. Game 3. Let it roll. Tinkaton, Blastoise. So very big pivot here for Clockwork. Versus Incineroar, Gallade. So we see pivots on both sides. So Clockwork saying it's been too hard to baton pass into that Blastoise. Let me just lead it. One way to guarantee it's at full health, ready to fire off attacks, is if it's just in the front right away. And again, we don't think this Gallade has Wide Guard. We've seen Protect, we've seen Trick Room, we've seen Sacred Sword. We have not seen that fourth move. So it could be a Tinkaton Fake Out into the Gallade. It could be trading Fake Outs here. If you're the Blastoise here, you really do not want to see that Trick Room go up. So there's the Fake Out to stop the Trick Room. Will we see a return Fake Out here? No, it is a Flare Blitz into the Tinkaton for a one-hit knockout. But that does leave the Blastoise free. It does not have Shell Smash, but it can fire off a full health Water Spout here if it wants to. And that is exactly what it goes for. We see the Pasho Berry from the Incineroar. It's a very strong attack. Will it be enough? It is enough to hang on. But now what do you do? Now you have a Blastoise in front of two things. The Citrus Berry, it did 67. Yeah, that Citrus Berry probably is not going to put it out of range of the next Water Spout. So now all of a sudden this Blastoise is kind of free to do what it wants. It has the speed control and full health for the first time in this set. This is where it's been trying to get to all set long, preferably with some boosts. But you had to sacrifice something. We are going to see Pikachu, another Fake Out Pokemon coming in. So just cycling that support for the Blastoise. Everything is on the back of Blastoise here. But I don't see an easy way out of this for Cthulhu. Mega Froslass should outspeed Blastoise, but that's probably about it on your team as far as speed goes. Incineroar will switch out. We will see the Machamp come in. Helping Hand coming out from the Pikachu. Neither Pokemon is going to love seeing this attack coming their way. A Helping Hand, full health Water Spout coming from Mega Blastoise. Machamp survives it. I am stunned by that survival. So Incineroar could come back in and pressure Fake Out, but you just protect. Yeah, so Froslass has to be the option. Does this Pikachu have a priority move? Just knock out the Machamp. Blastoise, I don't know my Machamp speed, so I don't know the Machamp Mega Blastoise speed tiers. So you could quick attack with Pikachu and Dark Pulse the Froslass. I mean, that's pretty straightforward play. That looks pretty solid here on the side of Clockwork. This Blastoise is finally becoming the monster here in Game 3 that it's been trying to get to, and Cthulhu is feeling the pressure from it. There is the Mega. So Froslass should be the fastest thing on the field, I believe. Should be faster than Pikachu, I would assume. Don't know how fast Pikachu can get, but it is the Aurora Veil. This has to be all Froslass now, though. Pikachu does go for the Thunderbolt, taking out the Machamp. And this will just be a Dark Pulse. Will survive because of the Aurora Veil. But this is so low health on the Froslass to try to get through this, basically this whole team. Because once again, Pikachu, I mean, a Fake Out could come this turn. You can just protect it away. Pikachu can outspeed and take out the Incineroar. And Blastoise can just focus down the Froslass. I don't think Froslass has a way of one-shotting this Blastoise. I mean, I don't even think a crit Thunderbolt would probably do it. Yeah, I'm not seeing an out here for Cthulhu. It's been a very well-played set. Games 1 and 2 extremely close. Clockwork coming out here in Game 3 and just putting the pedal down and finally dealing. And it is Lightning Rod on the Pikachu anyways to stop the Thunderbolt from coming into the Blastoise. But again, not many options here at this point of the game for Cthulhu. Blastoise does flinch, but this is just a matter of time. You gotta go for Blizzard Freezes. You gotta freeze the whole team. That is the out here for Froslass, is Blizzard Freezes. There's the Protect from Blastoise. There's the Blizzard. This is your one out. Does bring Pikachu down to Sash. No freeze. Thunderbolt's free to go off. Froslass does survive it, but is parried. The worst thing for it to see. Pikachu is now free to pick up the final knockout of the match. One more Thunderbolt should do it here. What a well-played set. Very fun to commentate. Congrats to both the coaches, Cthulhu and Clockwork. Clockwork will go to 2-0 on the season. Cthulhu will unfortunately fall to 0-2. But again, very impressive performance out of both coaches. We will see the final attack here in just a moment. Longer moment than expected. But yeah, I don't see an out here for Froslass. Blastoise is going to switch. Just going to reveal that fourth Pokemon for fun. It is the Garganacl. Pikachu will pick it up here with the Thunderbolt. And that is going to be the 2-1 win on the side of Clockwork. So once again, very well played by both coaches. Very fun set to be a part of. Looking forward to see what both of them do next week. Make sure you check out the rest of the week. 2 matches on the St. Louis VGC YouTube channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll have lots more battles all season long for you. But yeah, this was a fun one. But thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in a future video. Bye, everyone.